For this experiment attack, I will introduce you a new environment here for writing algorithm. You can have some package for your text, and after that, you can begin algorithm environment. You see, my command is now highlighted in pink, and it states that I need some packages before I use this algorithm. So I will use algorithm algorithmic and algorithm package. So begin algorithm. After begin algorithm, I will use end algorithm, and inside that I can have caption for this environment. For example, is calculate dollar sign. I told you earlier that inside a dollar sign you can have your variable, and you can have uh, it is essentially the minimal version of equation environment. Yes, this is for caption. And as I told you about having a TXT picture, you first begin figure and then you can begin TXT picture. In here or in table, you can begin table and then you can begin your tabular content. In this algorithm environment, we should do the same, and then we begin the algorithm. We can have our captions, our labels, and then we just begin the algorithmic environment. You see, inside begin algorithmic, you have different uh, type of different syntax, and you are better read the manual. I just create a new sample here. We can have require. This is a syntax for require argument. If I just hit the run, uh, EQ. You can see this is the result of our algorithm. You can see that you may have another line, for example, ensure dollar sign inside dollar sign. You can have if statement here, etc. You have, for example, this greater or equal, not equal, or uh, another type of command. Uh, you can read it. For example, if you remember, we have backslash le and backslash ge in our equation environment for less than or greater than, and we have different type of syntax here. You can use it, and you may read the manual for more advanced type of algorithm writing with algorithm or algorithmic environment. So this is just for a sample, and I believe we are good to go. This is the place that you can use for adding algorithm in your document. Some text. So here I think it's the part that I can answer one of your question is which is about adding MATLAB into LaTeX. As I told you earlier, that for having the code here, the best practice is using algorithm or algorithmic to have your semi-code here for having the illustrations and graphs presented in MATLAB and having them in your LaTeX, you have to export some kind of export file from MATLAB. This is a simple MATLAB script which produces graphs. If we hit run, we see that the graph is present. If we want our graph in EPS file, which is vector based, we just uh, print and add this command and then the file name. This piece shows that we want our figure to have multiple color. So we can see if we draw. Yes, yes. My fig that EPS is presented, and you see the picture is vector based and have a good has a good resolution. So we just copy this in our content file and paste it in our figure. You see that I have the same file here. So in our LaTeX file, we then we just import our figure as we discussed in uh, late in last session. Then we can have centering. After that, we will have include graphics. Um, then I think I forgot to add some package. This is because include graphic needs graphic X. So in my root, uh, yes, we don't have graphic X here, so we need to use package graphic X here, and in our experiment section, now we can include graphics. My image file is in my figures directory, and in figures I use my fig.eps. So after that we can have captions, caption, This is a vector based illustration. Wait. So if I hit run, we can see our graph is here, but the size is not good, so we may need these um, in include graphic. I guess we had uh, yes, just before that we have scale factor, and we will set it to, for example, 30%. So if I hit run, you see our graph is here, the size is not good, we add 4, and now we're good to go. If we had another text, we can see our figure much more better. I told you earlier that by default, all the graphics are placed in at the top of your column or in your page, but you can change it manually with the options. For example, the capital H will force LaTeX to use your graphs in the just in the coded order. For example, before the second lip sum, the third lip sum, and just after the second lip sum. So by hitting compile, you see that those change are made manually. So I believe this would be good for now. So after adding this image, this MATLAB image into our code, our LaTeX code, I think it's time to discuss some of your questions. First of them is about adding a CAD file to LaTeX. I browse it online, and I think I got this website. I don't know how good it may be, but I think it may be useful. There is not a standard version to change the CAD file DWG or DXF to TXE, but you can change it online to see how this online tool can help you. There are multiple of them here, but I think whenever you export them into PDF or, for example, EPS, they are good in LaTeX, and they are completely integrated in LaTeX using PDF file and also EPS file. If you manage to change them into EPS or PDF, I think you're good to go in LaTeX. For another question is about how to create, visualize our CSV data. I think it falls into a scope of another course, which you can search it online, is data visualization course. It in LaTeX you can visualize any data, any CSV data that you want, but I believe there are multiple packages and libraries in, for example, Python that can help you for visualizing data much more intuitively and much more user friendly, and overall a better experience to visualize data in those platforms. For example, using Seaborn in your library, as your library, or Matplotlib, or any kind of data visualization, and then you can export them into EPS and PDF and just use it in LaTeX. Using TXE is good, but not for example, creating professional type of drawing, because it is a very near to, for example, machine language rather than human one. Because of that, you cannot change it very pleasantly in short amount of time that I guess you want to do it. So for those for creating visualize for example professional data and large amount of data, I think that Python is the way to go. You can search it for data visualization course. So another question is how we can have a CSV, our CSV data or data set in LaTeX. I think, but it's not best practice to use all your CSV data in your paper or your document, but you can do it easily. For example, I found this website, this online tool, Table Convert. You can just import your CSV data here, and you will be provided with this table editor. And then after that, you can hit LaTeX or any kind of document platform that you want your tables in. You can change this options here, for example, bold first row, bold first column, minimal working space, escape LaTeX table, anything that are here can be, as you remember in table generator, you were provided with some of the options. You can just copy and paste this code into your document and you're good to go. Consider some changing the various of text, your table width and your horizontal space, because if you have very wide table, you may got into some problem because the width cannot be put into very narrow column. You can change it manually by adding, for example, half of your text width or your half of, for example, your column width, and I guess you're good to go. This was your question, I believe. The only one of them has remained, which is about presentation, and I will talk about it shortly. So for the last part in our document, we obviously need conclusion. Um, I already create some thing into conclusion part. Conclusion, yes. If I hit run, I create a simple table here, as you can see, just random table. You see, table has its caption above the table itself, and in conclusion, we have this uh, simple tabular content. So, if we want our table, for example, in exact position, we just type table which stands under the conclusion itself. So just for the sake of clarity, we just add some text here, and after the table we will do the same. So another things that I want to briefly touch is having our figures in combination with each other. We, for this purpose, we just use the package called, I believe, a sub figure or sub caption, I believe. Yes, sub caption. And for using sub caption, we need to begin our figure. Inside figure, we obviously need centering, and inside that we, you know, Sub caption is just a package that helps you to have two or more picture or figure inside one figure. For example, whenever you have a figure of, for example, figure one, and figure one has figure one A, figure one B, figure one C, etc. For this purpose, you must use sub caption in one of them. One of the ways to have those kind of image in your LaTeX is subcaption, and for using subcaption, you must define several subfigure inside a figure. For having this subfigure, yes, you make define the size that your this subfigure would have. For example, 20% of my text width, and then you can include your graphics. For this graphic, I think I would use uh, those cat and dog figures that I told you about in first session. I will define a width option to have both of them quite um, pleasantly. You can have caption for all your sub figure. For example, in caption, I just tell LaTeX that this is a first sub figure. After that, this is my label to my first sub figure. For example, week first, and after that, I will end my sub figure. After that, I will use a command that fill horizontal space, and then I will do this subfigure command again. My second picture, uh, obviously my label would be figure second, for example. This is my second subfigure, and I will use cat.jpg in this picture. So after those subfigure environment, we will use caption for all of your for the figure, the main figure. For example, you say this is about sub referencing in LaTeX, and we will have our label for this figure, and this is our code. If we hit run, we have an error here because figures border border we have two O here. I think we are good to go. Yes. You see, this is sub caption and using two figure inside one figure environment. You see, we have figure two sub-referencing in LaTeX, and we have a first subfigure and two second subfigure. For addressing those image, you just need to uh, add these those labels. For example, look at the figure, for example, like a slash ref. We will have this as your this is as our key, and that, for example, continue. So if I hit run, you can see those are red because hyperlink hyperref package make all the cross references red. You can see, look at the figure 2, that consists of two subfigure, 2a and 2b. In those way, you can see difference, you can make difference between your subfigures and quite easily. So I believe that would be fine, and our paper now has graphs and has subfigures, has tables, has algorithms and equations, and I believe those you can expand those for your assignment. I trust that you can do this. For your assignment, please prepare 8-page document which has at least two of each environment has it. For example, two algorithm, two figures, two tables, two equations, and etc. You can use any classes that you want for your paper, but it must be class for journals. So that's it. For the last question about preparing presentation, I don't think that I would have enough time, but I will tell you how you can download theme and just proceed on that. For having presentation in LaTeX, you just have to select Beamer class in document class, and then you can begin your whole environment. You can just hit run. You can use different class in your uh, different Beamer theme in your document class. You see, this is the standard layout for presentation. I believe you can do whatever you want by searching about the documentation with Beamer. But I believe something very useful for creating presentation with LaTeX is to use GitHub and look for theme here. You can see different themes are available for Beamer class. You can just use by / use theme. You can use theme and just uh, put your idea and content into it. As you noticed probably in my first presentation, which was about LaTeX introduction, I use some Beamer class. I don't know what, but I used Beamer for preparing presentation, which is easy. And if you are working with LaTeX confidently, you will use those confidently too. So there is nothing overwhelming about presentation in LaTeX. There are some code, some syntax that you may use, you may understand by searching ctan for Beamer class and um, reading the manual carefully. You will be able to create your presentation. Just go to GitHub for theme. You just go to GitHub and search, for example, LaTeX or Beamer. LaTeX presentation would be enough, I believe. LaTeX, for example, theme presentation in our GitHub. You can various Beamer theme. This is a very famous repository for theme. You can just clone it and use it as your starting point. So that concludes our session. I hope that was helpful for you, and you can now be able to create whatever you need in your academic journey and exploring LaTeX. Um, that was an honor presenting these topic to you, and my name is Mahdi Gholami. Good luck.